Hey everybody, welcome to Cali Girl Blog Talk. I'm Callie. Thank you for joining me. And today I'll be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 6, Burnin and Beefin. All right, so we start off exactly where we left off, and that is where Ashley is telling Candiace that she heard that Chris has been in some other DMs besides hers that were not as innocuous and innocent as the ones she received from Chris. Candiace said, girl, your man likes to leave you and goes to a man name, and they blurted out the name. She said, so-and-so's house, and the ladies are like, oh, Lord. Candiace continued and said, yeah, he likes to go to so-and-so's house and give him the business. Whoa, talk about the jugular. Yee! Everybody at the table is stuck. Karen had to put her glass down. She couldn't no longer take a sip. Ashley says, is this you veering off the path? Oh no, honey, she's on your row. Ashley is like, is this a deflection? Ashley not denying it though. That's interesting. Anyway, Candiace is like, yeah, so Chris ain't out here giving nobody the business. Karen turned to me and talking about, I'm sick to my stomach. He out here doing what to the who? In her confessional, Candiace said, you know, I was not supposed to talk about this person, but he did say that Michael was a client of his. Good googler-muggler, not a client. She said, Ashley, in the confessional, she said, that's what your ace get, okay? Because I was holding on to that. But you wanted smoke, so here you go. Back at the burn session, Candiace said, you need to watch your words, watch what you say, because you're making the get up. Ashley is like, I'm not. Meanwhile, Wendy is doing her best to flick the lighter to get some type of flame to remind them, burn session, burn session. Please throw it in the fire, girl. Please throw that in the fire. Ooh, throw it in the fire. Flames, let it go up in flames. Danger. Ashley said, see, this is the problem. I hear everything about Michael. I process and I deal. By now, Wendy has gone from flicking the lighter to burning paper. She said, you, however, Candiace, you're not hearing. Wendy is burning the paper, talking about burn it, please burn it. Meanwhile, Candiace is like, you come from a decrepit, disrespectful marriage. Ashley is throwing out sort of like light threats or warnings, I guess you can say, caution, talking about just remember, girl, the pendulum always swings the other way. So it sounds to me like Ashley got a little bit more up her sleeve. Here go Candiace going to church talking about, oh, no, honey, we know the Lord, okay, so we don't do that over here. Wendy is like, hey, okay, wait a minute, okay, ladies, I appreciate having you. Immediately, Karen jumps up and says, yes, this is it. This is over. She gets up because she's a little too uncomfortable with this information that has been unleashed. Giselle is already at the door, okay, making her exit, followed by Mia, Candiace, and Ashley is sitting there sipping the wine. Yeah, I'd sip too. Slow. As they make their way back to the Sprinter, you know, Ashley and Wendy rode together. So Wendy is like, are you okay? Ashley is like, here's the thing. She said, I wanted to bring it up in front of Giselle. Wendy said, why? And she said, because when we were at Candiace's house, Candiace just kept saying how phony Giselle is. Well, where did she lie, Ashley? Anyway, she says, so with Mia saying that he was looking at her, which was a lie, okay, and then with the new information she claims she got from somebody else that he was looking at, maybe he needs to just check himself and say, hey, maybe I'm being a little too friendly. That has, what does that have to do with Candiace saying that Giselle was phony when you were visiting her? And that's the reason why, therefore, you wanted to say it in front of Giselle. As they're walking out, Giselle turns around and says, yeah, I think it's time to go. And Candiace says, while I have you, I want to talk to you. I said, ooh, Candiace is knocking them bowling pins down one by one. I done landed, Ashley. Now, Giselle, about you. Acting and sounding nervous and jumpy, Giselle says, did you see the view? Look at the view. Candiace said, lovely. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you one-on-one. Giselle was like, yes, because I wasn't going to interrupt. I didn't want to interject. She said to Giselle, so the last time we met, I had to get up and leave, but I wanted to circle back because I wanted to make sure that I understand your feelings and where you are. You mentioned that you and Chris were in your dressing room and you were uncomfortable. Giselle said, right. Candiace said, okay, so what exactly made you uncomfortable? Giselle says, I'm in a room with a man that does not belong to me and the door is closed. And so I asked him to go outside and he immediately did. Giselle said, and that was it. And I thought you should know. What in the ignoramus, elephantitis, I couldn't think of nothing else to say because it's so ridiculous for her to have brought this to the show. She said, so you're saying that he suggested that you all go talk in your room. Giselle said yes. She said, well, Chris said that he just asked, can we talk? And you, Giselle, suggested that you go to your dressing room. Giselle's like, no. She continued and said, and when you guys got into your room, he suggested that, should we leave the door open? Giselle said, well, I don't recall him saying anything like that. But if he did say that, that proves that he knows it was inappropriate. That in itself, and I'm glad Candiace caught it. By you saying that, Giselle, that is implying that there was some type of malice on Chris's part. Because you're saying that, oh, well, Chris knew that my room was empty, that my glam squad was not going to be in there, and therefore he lured me. She said, I didn't say lured. She said, that's what you're implying. Because what is all of the inappropriate? I was uncomfortable. Like you were lured into a situation that made you uncomfortable. Like you were lured into your room where there was nobody else around and the door was closed because Chris was going to try something. Candiace asked her bottom line, do you believe that Chris had malintent? She said, I don't know, Candiace. It is just as simple as I don't want to be in the room with the married man. I mean, dang, Giselle. If he didn't do anything that made you uncomfortable, okay, then should he have been uncomfortable in a room with you? I think so, because look at what we're discussing today. She said maybe Chris is doing things that he feels comfortable with, but the ladies don't. Way to spin it, Giselle. Way to spin it. Back in the Sprinter, Karen is explaining to Robin what just went down as far as Ashley claiming that Chris was flirting with someone else. Robin said, with who? Was she specific? And Karen said, no, she wasn't. Ashley is explaining to Wendy, I wasn't trying to be vindictive, okay? That narrative has to stop. It'll never stop as long as you're on the show. You don't plan to change. She continues and says that she saw her friend yesterday who was also at Karen's party, and she asked Ashley, are Chris and Candiace still together? Wendy said, who is it? And it's confirmed that it's Ashley's friend, Deborah. We saw her a couple of episodes ago when she came over for a play date with her son. Now, remember, Ashley said her friend that we now know as Deborah said that when she was at the bar, Chris leaned in all into her space, like he was trying to be flirty, right? Get her attention. Meanwhile, production is showing her friend at the bar. Chris is at the bar, mind you, at least one person away from her, and he's all into his phone. He's looking at his phone. He's not looking at her, just like he wasn't looking at Mia. In her confessional, Ashley said, and I'm not good on sitting on those things, so I felt it was important to tell her. Man, whatever, Ashley. Back to Candiace and Giselle. Candiace said, Giselle, you could have called me, but you didn't. You wanted to wait until you were on a platform where you can cause the most hurt to someone who has been nothing but kind to you. Giselle, that's not true. That's not true. That's the same thing the serpent told Eve. Surely you will not die if you bite this apple. That is not true, Eve. Candiace went for the jugular again and said, that is for the gucked up, and you, Giselle, are the reason. You are an example of why women have a hard time coming forth with actual allegations. Okay? Actual allegations. And Giselle now is stunned. Her eyes are huge. Like, yeah, because you're doing this for a storyline, and that is not funny. It's not a joke, and it's certainly not nothing to play with. You're making allegations that can impact their livelihood, their family, relationships with their friends, things of that nature. Like, it's not funny. Here go Giselle. What? Candiace said, yeah, that's right, because you say things with no basis and no backing. Giselle said, wait a minute, what I just said you understand. And now all of a sudden it has no basis? Girl, she didn't say she understands as if to say, hey, Giselle, oh, now I see what you mean and I understand how you felt uncomfortable. No, she said she wanted to get a clear understanding on what you were saying and the reason why you said you felt uncomfortable. She didn't say she understood why you felt uncomfortable. She wanted to understand why you said it. You quick, but not quick enough, girl. Not quick enough, nor smart enough for that one. In her confessional, here go Giselle, I'm the reason why women can't come forth with assault allegations. If anything, I am an advocate for women to come forward with their truth because I ain't lying. If what you said is exactly what happened, what about that is making you uncomfortable? The fact that you were in a room with a married man, but Chris did nothing himself to make you uncomfortable. So you are lying in regards to what you are implying in that regard. But as far as him being in the room, who suggested who go to the room privately to talk or whatever, you probably are telling the truth about that. He didn't deny that it happened. What they are denying is that he took action of any kind to make you uncomfortable. You said he didn't say anything. You said he didn't do anything. So what, Giselle? Because honestly, when you walked in and saw that your glam squad wasn't there, if you were so uncomfortable, you should have immediately said, oh, you know what? I thought my glam squad was here. No, let's go somewhere else. And just diverted and went to another location and didn't even have to explain. But you decided to walk on in there and allow the door to be closed. Now, all of a sudden, he's making you uncomfortable. Realizing that they're not getting anywhere, Giselle says, okay. Candiace says, okay. She gets up, she dabs her eyes. You know, Candiace gonna have a little moment where she might get a little teary-eyed when she gets upset. Okay, but that does not stop her from expressing herself thoroughly. Anyway, in her confessional, Candiace said it's incredibly hurtful for Giselle to not understand how damaging the statements and the allegations that she's making against Chris is and can potentially be in the future. She said Giselle is an evil C word and she refuses to have her intelligence tapped on. Giselle arrives to the Sprinter and says, oh, Ashley is dropping bombs. She's telling Robin. She said, yeah, Ashley said that Chris was feeling on people butt. Now, did you hear that? I didn't hear that. I watched last episode and the beginning of this episode. I didn't hear nothing about who was feeling on who. And we sure didn't see it. So next we see Ashley. She has an appointment with an attorney. She decided to consult with one because she said, although she expects things to go and be amicable and respectful between her and Michael during the divorce, things can go crazy. They can go awry. Yeah, they can. So the attorney is like, so what brings you in today? What are your concerns? Ashley says, well, earlier in our marriage, we were more explorative. We kind of stepped out or allowed other people to step in. You know what I'm saying? We were into that. But since having the children, I'm no longer into that. That's not my thing anymore. But she thought that they would always end up on the same page. The attorney is like, yeah, that's the tough part about marriage. You can only control yourself. So in other words, what you thought he would do, he's not doing and he's not being. The attorney said, is there a prenup? And Ashley said, yes. So anything prior to us marrying, he owns, but last month was our 8th anniversary, and anything that he made since our marriage is considered marital property. She said, so as a part of their divorce, Michael said that he's going to send her a proposal. You know what I'm saying? And then the attorney was like, yeah, well, what the problem is, you have to trust that he's going to be forthcoming about everything that's a part of that marital pot in order for you to split things amicably. In her confessional, Ashley said, you know what, she believes that Michael is going to be fair, so she's going to accept the proposal. And if she finds out that he's trying to screw or bamboozle her, then she's going to scrap the proposal and follow through with an attorney. She said, she doesn't want to move too fast. She wants to wait till they're closer to the divorce actually going through. They have to be separated for a year, so she wants to wait. And then she says, let me just be honest, I'm stalling. The attorney said, are there any other loose ends? And Ashley says, well, he is suggesting that, he'll buy me a house. The attorney said, at this stage of going through divorce, it's probably not the best idea for you to buy a home. With him having full financial interest in the home, if at any time, even if your name is on the title, he can pull that bad boy back. Next, we see two members of the Get Along Liars gang, and that includes Mia and Charisse, along with Jacqueline. I don't know nothing about Jacqueline, but I'm speaking in regards to Mia and Charisse when I talk about lying. So they all meet for manis and petties, And here we go with the question again about Mia's health. I'm so tired of this coming up every time somebody sees Mia. Anyway, Charisse says, question, how is your health? Mia tells her, like she's been telling everybody who's been asking her, that I still have the swollen lymph node. I still have the lump. It's not cancerous. It's not anything that has to be removed as of urgent. So it will be removed, but not right now. So as of now, everything is good. Jacqueline's mom became Mia's foster mom because, as we know, Mia explains to Charisse, her mom was addicted to drugs. Her father was in prison and he died in prison. And so Jacqueline's mom took Mia in. After that, Mia lets Charisse know that she's inviting her along with the rest of the ladies to the trip to Miami. Next, we see Wendy. She's at home chilling with her babies and her husband, and she's talking about how the situation that happened with her mom, who had a routine lab visit to the doctor, and some of her levels were elevated, and it's giving Wendy the feeling of how she needs to slow down and really appreciate the things that she's doing rather than just, checking them off as she goes. And she needs to sit down and she wants to smell the tulips. Her husband is all for that and says, speaking of taking on too much, what's going on with you in the restaurant? Because it's a financial investment and it's going to put a big strain on the finance. He said, it's too much and you already have a full plate. She said, you know what, to be honest, it would put a strain on my finances. And you know what, it's on pause. Moving on, she starts to talk about the burn session. She said, I wanted all the ladies to talk openly and I went first and all hell broke loose. She said it was a Wendy roast session. And it was. Until it wasn't, and then it became an Ashley and Candiace roast session, more so Candiace on Ashley. She said even still, besides all that, she got a text from Mia for an invite to Miami. Girl, Mia don't like you. She just did that because it's a cast requirement, honey. Next, we see the Serpent, aka Giselle, and she's meeting up with Robin. I guess they're looking at some attire for their trip to Miami. Robin was like, Candiace wants to chop Ashley's head off, but don't she have enough to deal with? Giselle said, yeah, in these streets and these tweets that Chris is, tweeting. And Robin said, yeah, I talked to her about that. So they show Candiace talking to Robin about the tweets that Chris was putting out there. And Candiace said he was set off with the tweets by Ashley. Side note, Candiace, you better be careful talking to Robin. I mean, what makes you think she's so different than Giselle? Because she appeared to have been on your side, in reference to what Giselle was saying about Chris. However, you see in this episode, she's playing both sides of the fence. She's never going to fully come on anybody's side other than Giselle. That's just their pact. So be careful talking to her. You talking to her, you giving her all this information, but she's shopping with the two serpents that's out here putting out rumors about your man. Girl, you are very smart and intelligent, but you are being foolish in this moment. Only talk about what needs to be talked about. It's not necessary to share with Robin why Chris is doing what he's doing. It's obvious why. Girl, just then, baby serpent Ashley walks in. Ashley is sharing with them her conversation that she had with the attorney. She's also sharing with them that she found out that the LLC has not been created yet, that Michael said that he wouldn't dare do something like that without her input. He got a little offended, talking about how dare you insinuate like I would sneak around and do something. So he's acting defensive. They said, I thought you said you bought the house in the LLC. She said, I thought it was already created, but now that I know it's not, I really don't have to purchase the home in the LLC. Anyway, Giselle says, yeah, Ashley, I'm gonna put you and Candiace in a room together. Here go, Robin. Yeah, so I heard that you brought up some situation that took place between Chris and your friend, but even so still, how did it blow up? Like, how did we get there? How did it turn into an argument? Robin, okay, now you back to playing both sides of the fence. What did you think it was gonna turn into? You thought they was gonna skip off into fairyland together? Before Ashley can answer, Giselle jumps in and says, well, Candiace said that Michael was in a hotel with a male client giving him the business. Robin said, I'm gonna be honest, Candiace told me about that years ago. Ashley is like, wait, what? No, tell me, who is this person? And Robin is like, it's not my story to tell. But she says, basically, she told me on the phone, we had a private conversation, and she told me that she knows of a high-end escort service who Michael solicits for services. Ashley says, it's interesting. I don't care. And then I don't believe it still. In her confessional, Robin said, yeah, Candiace said this years ago. She told me on the phone. She made it a point to say that Candiace said deliberately. If you just say that Candiace said it, it's obvious it was deliberate. But anyway, she said that Candiace said that to her on the phone. And the producer said, do you believe that the rumor is true? And Robin said, listen, I'm not putting anything past anybody, especially Michael Darby. In her confessional, the producers asked Giselle, and Giselle says, I never heard these rumors, but I do want to know if the client looks like Juan. Wow. Giselle then says Candiace was on my heels and we had a really nice conversation and it was nice in my head. At least it was until Chris started going on Twitter calling me a liar. Well, what was he supposed to do? Allow you to disparage his character and not say anything? You're saying stuff about him publicly. What you thought he was gonna do? Here go Robin playing both sides of the fence. Well, I mean, he's getting everything, Chris, right? Chris is getting everything from Candiace. She's dramatizing everything to him. Well, Robin, I wonder how you feel about this situation that's out regarding Juan Dixon and him covering up a college scandal of an alleged assault. How do you feel about that? Are you guys talking about it? In her confessional, Giselle is talking about it's challenging. It's hard to figure out this dynamic between Chris and his wife named Candiace, but she's definitely not putting a stop to him tweeting. Why should she? Why does he have to? You don't want to be called a liar? You don't want it to be in writing? Too bad. Stop lying. Stop implying. Here goes Giselle on a rampage. I don't ever want to talk to that guy named Chris. Ever. She was like, he could come in here right now and stand next to me and I would be like, Chris, for the guck you. Girl, it's the dramatic effect for me that you keep putting on it, Giselle. I don't ever want to talk to that guy named Chris again. Ever. Okay, girl. Girl, I'm sure he feels the same way about you and some. So next we see the ladies. They are meeting at the airport for this trip to Miami, and Karen and Sharice see each other, and here's Karen. Oh my gosh, glad to see you. Glad you made it. Sharice is like, They're exchanging pleasantries, and as soon as they turn away from each other, the camera is still on them, and the plastic smiles melt almost immediately. They make it to Miami. Candiace is not with them yet. She's handling some music business, so she's gonna come late. So the ladies are on their way to the rooms, or the house, what have you, and Mia explains although it's 9 women, there's only 6 rooms, but she assures Karen that she has nothing to worry about because it is her birthday. They pull up, although they're in separate cars. Robin, Ashley, and Wendy are looking at the house like, wait a minute, this does not look like 5-star. Wendy is like, this is not Miami. This is a residential area across the street from somebody's grandma's house. Robin and Ashley don't want to share a room. They're like, there are plenty of hotels. Not that they don't want to share a room with each other. They don't want to have the sharing room situation going on with anybody. So they walk in and it's very nice. I'm not sure what they were seeing from the outside, but it's definitely nice on the inside, baby. And if this house is across the street from somebody's grandmother's house, as Wendy indicated, then somebody's grandmother got some money. Everybody loves the house, but Giselle has a complaint, and in her confessional she said, the house is great, but I have a question. Why aren't we on the beach? Ask the producers, you know they paid for it. So they're settling down a little bit. They're getting ready to eat. And as they're eating, Mia says, okay, now I'm going to give you guys your room assignments. I named the rooms after stripper movies and phrases. So Karen has her own room. Robin and Giselle are sharing a room. Sharice has her own room, but she has an issue. Sharice wants her own bathroom and she doesn't have one. This time Robin and Giselle has a bathroom, but Giselle would prefer to have 2 separate bathrooms because she says she knows everything about Robin, including her bathroom poop schedule. Last but not least, Ashley has a room with a bathroom as well. We don't know what Candiace's room looks like because she's not there yet. So they're like, where is Candiace's room? Mia was like, I don't know. I'm like, what? So the 3 serpents, they think it's a good idea to place Candiace in Wendy's room where there's only 1 bed. 3 serpents meaning Giselle, Ashley, and yes, now I'm adding Robin back into the mix. No sooner than they do the switch with the cards, Wendy says, where is Candiace's card? Ashley is like, I don't know, maybe Mia has it. So there's a mystery. Where is Candiace's room? Mia was like, I don't know. Why should I care? Wendy said, because you're the host. She's like, yeah, and she's going to be sleeping under the roof. Sharice chimes in and says, I have a suggestion because I don't mind getting a hotel because I need my own bathroom. She says some things are not negotiable and a bathroom is one. Now Robin is complaining, saying that, yeah, me and Giselle are besties, but that don't mean we always want to share rooms. Why does Karen always get her own room? Because she's the oldest. The ladies separate. Mia and Jacqueline, they're getting settled, and Mia calls her husband and says, you know what? I just want to let you know that I love you and I realize how spoiled I am because guess what? I left my luggage at the airport. I'm so used to you getting it or somebody else getting it that I didn't get it myself. Meanwhile, Sharice done already contacted her travel agent and they done got 5 locations that she needs to choose from. She said, because I am not in college, I am not sharing bathrooms. After hanging up with Gordon, Mia calls Peter. She's like, what's up? You in Miami? He's like, I am in Miami. She's like, me and the girls are here and we want to stop by the bar tonight. So she's like, there's 8 of us. I got Giselle, Robin, Wendy, and Peter says, yeah, tell Wendy I got beef with her when I see her. Mia is like, wait, hold on, what? Must be because she's backing out of that deal with the club or the restaurant or whatever it was, all of that and the above. Anyway, that's where the episode ends. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. And until next time, be blessed. Peace.